Welcome to Construction Tutor, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are pulling you out of the superficial summaries and dropping you deep, really deep, into the operational engine room of major projects.
That's a good way to put it.
This is where policy meets the pavement, where contracts meet concrete.
That's exactly right. We're zeroing in on some highly specialized source material today, focused entirely on advanced construction management. Specifically, it's Submodule 1.2, Contractor Quality Control. Or CQC.
CQC.
Yeah, and this isn't just theory. This is the actual framework that dictates whether a multi-million-dollar facility, gets finished on time, on budget, and meets every single specification.
So the mission for this deep dive is really sharp and focused. We need to extract the absolute core insights that govern quality management today.
Right.
And for those of you working in or around large, complex infrastructure, I'm thinking especially government-funded projects, mastering this module is pretty much non-negotiable.
It is. And our source material lays out 3 key objectives for you, the learner, to walk away with. First, we need to draw a crystal clear operational distinction between inspection and control.
Okay, 2 words that sound similar but are not.
Not at all. They're often confused. But in CQC, they represent fundamentally different activities. It's a critical difference.
Second objective.
Second, we're going to define the roles. Who does what? That means mapping out the specific responsibilities of the contractor versus the government under the modern construction quality management system, the CQM system.
And that division of labor, I gather, is a really revolutionary shift from how things used to be done.
A huge shift. And finally, the third objective is exploring the tangible, quantifiable rewards. What are the comprehensive benefits of CQC?
Not just for the contractor's bottom line, which I imagine is pretty substantial.
Oh, it's substantial, but it's also for the government's efficiency. And of course, the ultimate client's satisfaction.
And here's where we get into the sort of human element of project management. The sources make a fascinating and critical observation.
I know what you're getting at.
It's that one half of this essential quality equation, the half that is actually fundamental to preventing disaster, is unfortunately sometimes neglected.
That neglect is the Achilles heel of so many projects. And understanding why that crucial element gets overlooked is really the key to mastering CQC.
Right. It forces us to ask, is quality about checking work after the fact?
Or is it about planning the work so well that it can't go wrong in the first place?
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's dive headfirst into this operational difference, because the distinction between these 2 core activities, it seems like it's the foundation the whole CQC philosophy is built on.
It is. It's everything.
All right, section 1, the critical difference, control versus inspection.
So contractually, the sources confirm that the contractor holds responsibility for 2 very distinct processes, quality control and quality inspection.
Both are their job.
Both are their job. They're related, certainly, and they both feed into the final delivery of a quality product, but, and this is the key, they operate at completely different stages of the project timeline.
I think we need a relatable analogy right out of the gate here, because these words, they're used so interchangeably in just casual speech.
Sure.
If I'm building a complex engine, inspection is opening the hood after the assembly line finishes and, checking the oil pressure. So what is control?
Control is everything that happens before the engine even starts and while it's being built. It's the process planning. It's making sure every single torque wrench is calibrated before the shift starts.
Okay.
It's confirming that the specialized metal alloy for a particular part has arrived on site with the correct material certification. It's pre-screening the welding crew to make sure their certifications are current for that specific task.
So control is inherently the preventative mindset. It's all forward-looking risk mitigation.
Precisely. The sources define control as a continual system of planning future activities. The timing is unequivocally preventive. This is where all the heavy lifting of CQC really happens.
And it's not a one-time event?
No, it has to be a persistent process, something integrated into the daily workflow.
So if control is the planning and the preparation, what are its specific, mandated objectives within this CQC framework?
The stated objectives of control are incredibly foundational. First, it has to ensure the contractor is adequately prepared to begin a phase of work.
And adequate preparation means a lot more than just having the materials on site, I'm guessing?
Oh, way more. It means the approved design submittals are on hand, the correct equipment is mobilized, the environmental controls are in place, and the personnel have reviewed the exact methods of execution.
That objective alone is a huge administrative task. It stops that tendency to just rush into work because a truck with material showed up.
And that leads directly to the second objective of control, to eliminate deficiencies before they occur. This is the core value proposition right here.
The secret sauce.
It is. You don't want to find a mistake later. You want to make it structurally impossible to make the mistake in the first place through robust preparation.
Okay, and the third objective?
Following through in accomplishing the work in accordance with the contract. So, control is the system that not only plans the work, but also guides the execution, ensuring the standards defined during preparation are maintained throughout the entire production process.
Now, this is where we bring in that critical observation from the sources, the point we teased earlier. The sources specifically note that this entire control process is sometimes neglected. Why is that? If it saves massive amounts of money, why does the industry still sometimes skip the planning?
It's a conflict between perceived efficiency and true efficiency. In the fast-paced, high-pressure environment of a construction site, there's a powerful cultural bias toward tangible action, swinging the hammer, pouring the concrete.
Right, doing stuff.
Exactly. And planning, documentation, coordinating submittals, performing preparatory meetings, all the real work of control. That stuff feels like slowing down.
It's the gratification gap. It feels productive to start work immediately, even if it leads to 2 weeks of rework later. Whereas spending 2 days in a trailer mapping out every possible risk feels like administrative drag.
You've nailed it. The pressure to meet schedules often overrides the discipline needed for proactive control. And that's why the sources specifically state that this whole system places exceptional emphasis on the control aspects.
Because they're the hardest part.
Precisely because they are the most challenging culturally and the ones most frequently overlooked in favor of just, getting started.
So this shift in emphasis, it requires us to go deeper than just defining control. We need to understand the mechanism of control. For listeners who might be new to this, how is this preventative mindset actually operationalized on a day-to-day basis? What are the specific milestones that make up the system?
This is where we have to introduce the crucial foundational component of CQC. It's called the 3 phases of control. These phases are the absolute backbone of any effective CQC plan, and they demonstrate perfectly how quality is built into the process, not just checked at the end.
Okay, so let's detail those phases. They must take this abstract concept of planning and turn it into verifiable site activities.
Absolutely. So phase 1 is the preparatory phase.
Yeah.
This has to be completed before any definable feature of work begins. The goal here is complete, documented readiness.
No exception.
No exceptions. The Contractor Quality Control System Manager, the CQC Manager, they have to lead a meeting. And it's attended by all the relevant supervisors, and this is key, including the government quality assurance personnel, the QA folks.
Okay, so what's on the agenda for that preparatory meeting? It sounds important.
Everything. Absolutely everything. You have to review the design requirements, the applicable submittal approvals, the safety plans, the entire scope of the work. Check the resources. Are the required materials on hand? Have they been approved? Are they correctly stored?
You're checking the checkers.
You're checking everything. Are all the personnel involved certified for this specific task? And crucially, you establish the baseline. You determine what specific test procedures will be used, who's going to conduct them, and what the acceptance criteria are. This phase is completely non-negotiable. If you skip this, you have no control. You're just winging it.
That sounds like spending 3 hours in a trailer to save 3 days of rework outside. It sets the expectation and makes sure every single person on site is singing from the same hymn sheet before the first shovel even hits the ground.
That's the entire purpose.
Yeah.
So once the preparatory phase is complete and the work officially begins, we move into phase 2, the initial phase.
Okay.
This happens right at the beginning of a definable feature of work, specifically when the work operation has just started and the actual production is representative of the contract standards.
So we're talking about the first production unit, the first concrete pour, the first run of ductwork installation, the first segment of framing, that first little bit.
Exactly that. The CQC manager must conduct an inspection when the crew has completed just enough work to establish the standard, but not so much that a mistake would be costly to tear out. This phase is all about establishing a benchmark.
So you're checking that first piece against the plan from the prep meeting.
You are. You confirm that all the instructions agreed upon in the preparatory phase were followed. You verify the materials, the workmanship standards, The tolerance levels?
It's the critical early warning system. If you find a deficiency here, it's localized, it's cheap to fix, and you can immediately retrain the crew or adjust the process before, thousands of square feet of faulty work are installed.
It standardizes the process for everything that follows. And then we move to phase 3, the follow-up phase.
Right.
This is the continuous, daily, ongoing inspection necessary to ensure that the benchmark that we just established in the initial phase is maintained throughout the entire execution of that definable feature of work.
This is where the clipboard and the daily log really come in, right? It's not just one big check at the beginning. It's continuous vigilance.
It is continuous vigilance. The CQC personnel are on site. They're checking material placement, compliance with standards, critical processes, until that feature of work is totally complete. The moment the crew deviates from that established benchmark, the CQC system detects it and corrects it.
Which prevents small problems from compounding into massive liabilities.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, that detailed look at the 3 phases, it clarifies control immensely. It's not just a vague idea, it's a structured process of planning, benchmarking, and monitoring. So now, let's contrast that highly complex, forward-looking system with its counterpart, inspection.
Inspection is, by definition, the simpler process. It is the examination of ongoing and completed work. Its timing is ongoing or strictly after the fact.
It's the physical verification. It's the show me, did you do what you said you were going to do?
Exactly. If the contract requires a certain installation depth, inspection is using a tape measure to verify it after the installation is complete. The objective of inspection is singular, to ensure that the work was accomplished in accordance with contract provisions.
So, if the control system, the 3 phases, is functioning properly, the inspection process should really just be a formality. It's a confirmation that the quality requirements have been met.
That's it.
So if the inspection process continually flags major deficiencies, it's not actually the inspection that failed.
No, it's the underlying control system that broke down.
That is the perfect analytic summary. Control is the forward-looking preventative system. It deals with the process. Inspection is the backward-looking, verificational check-it deals with the product. And that separation and really recognizing that control has to be the priority is the essential prerequisite for modern quality management.
You've got it.
All right, that brings us to section 2. Now that we've clearly established that quality management requires prevention, which is control, and verification, which is inspection, we have to ask the big question. If control is the secret sauce, who should be stirring the pot? And that question led to a massive foundational shift in liability and responsibility for large government projects.
It really did.
Yeah.
Historically, the lines of responsibility were incredibly muddy. The contracting agency or the owner often inadvertently took on the burden of quality control.
How so?
Well, the sources detail the traditional system where the owner's representatives were continually on site advising the contractor, saying, that's wrong, this is right, or you need to fix this one specific installation detail.
That sounds incredibly micromanaging. Why was that such a problem? I mean, weren't they just trying to help?
It created severe inefficiencies and, maybe more importantly, legal complications. By continually advising the contractor on how to do their job, the owner was restricting the contractor's ability to innovate or manage their own crews effectively.
Yeah.
But the most significant consequence
Yeah.
was that it placed the responsibility for quality control, the planning and execution guidance, onto the agency or owner.
Oh, I see. So if the government representative on site told the contractor, hey, pour the concrete now, and then the temperature suddenly dropped and the concrete failed,
The contractor could legitimately argue the deficiency was caused by the owner's direct instruction or interference.
it creates a huge liability mess.
Exactly. That liability entanglement and the massive administrative burden on the contracting agencies, who are essentially having to police every single step of the work, that's why the construction quality management model, the CQM model, was adopted.
So under this current system, how does it work?
Under this system, the responsibility for quality control, QC, which includes the planning, the 3 phases, the documentation, all the day-to-day inspection, is now definitively and contractually vested in the contractor. Full stop.
The contractor is the expert in construction, so they have to own the entire quality system. It's their professional responsibility.
Absolutely. They design the system, they staff the system with a certified CQC manager, and they execute the system. And that leads directly to the government's new and distinctly different role, quality assurance, or QA.
Okay, let's unpack quality assurance. This is a critical nuance because we're talking about massive institutional players here. The sources specifically name USCE and NABIFAC. For listeners less familiar, these are the heavyweights.
They're the biggest construction managers in the entire federal system. USEE, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, manages vast civil works dams, flood control, environmental restoration, along with major military construction.
And AVFX.
MAVEFAC, the Naval Facilities Engineering Command, handles all the shore infrastructure for the Navy and Marine Corps. We're talking piers, dry docks, complex operational buildings.
Yeah.
When these agencies mandate CQC, it sets the standard for high-stakes, long-term infrastructure.
So what does the QA team from USC or NaviFac actually do on a project? If they're not controlling quality, what's their job?
Their job is to ensure the integrity of the process. Government QA personnel are responsible for periodically verifying that the contractor's system of quality control is working effectively.
So they're not telling the contractor which specific beam to bolt next?
No, absolutely not. They are there to audit the contractor's adherence to their own approved CQC plan.
They're auditing the system, not the output, like we said. They're making sure the proper documentation is being kept, that the preparatory meetings are actually happening with the right people,
That the required tests are being performed, and that deficiencies found during the follow-up phase are being corrected promptly. That's the crucial nuance. The government performs quality assurance, QA, which is verifying the management system.
and they are explicitly prevented from performing quality control, QC.
That's the contractor's job. If the QA team notices a systematic failure, say, the contractor was consistently missing a step at the initial phase checks, the government points out the system failure, and the contractor has to correct their entire process. The government doesn't step in and do it for them.
This distinction is just pivotal for risk management. It means the contractor can't point the finger back at the government. If the project fails to meet spec, it is inherently a failure of the contractor's QC system.
Which the government's QA system simply confirmed was not robust enough. It establishes a very clean line of accountability.
And this whole framework is designed to move away from that traditional sort of adversarial model.
Right. And the source material addresses this by emphasizing the concept of partnering.
Partnering.
Yeah, because the contractor is now fully responsible and empowered to manage quality, the optimal outcome is achieved when both the government and the contractor promote the CQC program together as a shared goal.
That sounds a little idealistic, especially in construction where schedules and money often lead to conflict. Is partnering just corporate buzzword bingo, or does it actually mandate a real cultural shift?
The sources strongly suggest a mandatory cultural shift. They really favor this approach, stating that the partnering effort is intended to be a much more pleasant experience than the traditional use of enforcement to ensure quality delivery.
A more pleasant experience.
Think about the energy saved. If the government QA team trusts the contractor's CQC manager because they consistently execute the 3 phases flawlessly, the relationship shifts from, police officer and culprit to respected peer and auditor.
That changes the tone of every site meeting, every document review, and every inspection. Instead of arguing over penalties, they're collaboratively solving logistical challenges because they know the quality system is sound.
Exactly. This transition is essential for maximizing the promised benefits. The time and money saved by replacing that enforcement friction with collaboration are just enormous.
So when both parties actively develop and promote the CQC program, they're both invested in the success of the process, not just fighting over the end product.
You've got it. CQC isn't merely a bureaucratic requirement. It's a framework designed to professionalize the entire interaction, moving it into an area of mutual respect and, frankly, shared profitability.
And speaking of profitability, let's turn to Section 3, because this system, when it works, provides tangible financial rewards across all parties.
It really does. Understanding the benefits of CQC is so important because it transforms quality control from what people see as a burden into a strategic investment.
A profit center.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
And we can categorize these rewards across the 3 main groups.
Huh?
The contractor who implements the system, the government who manages the contract, and the ultimate stakeholder.
Let's start where the immediate pressure lies. The contractor's financial viability. Where does CQC deliver the biggest, most measurable return on investment for the contractor?
The source material is unequivocal on this. Effective CQC will greatly reduce the largest unnecessary cost in construction,
Which is?
the tear-out and replacement costs stemming from deficient workmanship and materials.
Let's put a magnitude on that. In the construction industry, studies routinely show that construction rework, anything that has to be torn out and reinstalled, can account for anywhere from 5% to even 15% of the total project budget.
That's right.
If a contractor saves 10% of a $100 million job, we're talking about $10 million in direct savings.
It is massive, and that figure doesn't even account for the ripple effect. The mechanism is that CQC ensures work is done correctly the first time, largely through the discipline enforced by the preparatory and initial phases.
So you don't just save the labor and materials for the replacement.
No. You save the labor and materials for the original faulty installation, the cost of disposal, and the cost of managing all the subsequent schedule delays.
The compounding effect of rework is what absolutely kills profit margins. If a late foundation requires the structural steel to be resequenced, you've got crews sitting idle, materials waiting, rental equipment still ticking away.
And that leads directly into the secondary financial benefit, operational efficiency, which leads to earlier completion. Effective CQC drastically reduces field overhead costs.
And that's the cost of running the site itself. The trailers, the utilities, security, the salaries of all the field management who have to stay on site until the last little deficiency is corrected.
Right. If you shave even 3 weeks off a project, that overhead savings flows straight to the bottom line. It's pure profit.
And that efficiency is a business multiplier, isn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, by completing projects earlier and running a tighter ship, the contractor frees up their high-value resources, their best project managers, their critical heavy equipment, their capital, allowing them the ability to do a greater volume of business overall within the same calendar year.
That's a great point. That's exactly how good quality management translates into market dominance. It's not just about winning the current job, it's about winning the next 3 jobs sooner.
And then there's reputation.
You can't ignore reputation and image. High-quality performance, zero rework, timely delivery that builds an intangible asset. This enhanced reputation leads to possible future contracts. Clients, especially government agencies, they prioritize demonstrated reliability over minor price differences.
And we have to integrate the safety component, which the source material explicitly cites as an integral part of CQC.
The financial gains through safety are profound, and they're often overlooked. When CQC emphasizes preparation and procedure, it naturally reinforces safety protocols. A controlled site where everyone follows established procedures from the preparatory phase is just a safer site.
Which means less lost time accidents.
It means the contractor experiences less lost time due to accidents, fewer insurance claims, and ultimately lower experience modification rates, or EMRs, on their insurance policies. This translates directly into greater profit margins and improved competitive standing.
And for those playing the long game in government contracting, there is a specific high-value institutional reward tied to CQC excellence.
Ah, yes, the CPARS evaluation. CPARS stands for Contractor Performance Assessment Reporting System.
The government's report card.
It's essentially the federal government's rigorous report card on a contractor's past performance across 5 key areas, and quality is a big one. Effective CQC may warrant an above-satisfactory CPARS evaluation.
And why is an above-satisfactory CPARS rating such a competitive weapon?
Well, it acts as both a gate and a ladder. For one, lower-rated firms often struggle to even bid on the most complex or sensitive projects. But for the top performers, a consistently excellent CPARS rating enhances their competitive position when bidding on future contracts.
It gives them a real advantage.
A significant advantage in the source selection process. Sometimes it even allows them to submit a slightly higher bid and still win the contract because of their proven reliability. It institutionalizes the reward for quality management.
And finally, there's that vital human benefit the source material highlights. The contractor personnel taking pride in the delivery of a quality product.
This is the cultural payoff of a successful CQC system. When workers are enabled to do the job correctly the first time, they feel valued. This intangible benefit leads to lower employee turnover, higher morale, and a greater commitment to superior craftsmanship on site.
You can't quantify pride on a balance sheet.
You can't, but it is arguably the biggest driver of sustained long-term quality.
So the contractor is making more money, getting better insurance rates, and securing better government report cards. Now, let's flip it. Let's look at the government side. What are the measurable returns for USCC or NavyFAC from enforcing this complex CQC system?
For the government, the core benefit really revolves entirely around manpower efficiency and resource management. Government agencies consistently operate under budget constraints and personnel ceilings. So the sources point out that manpower is used more effectively.
Let's detail that impact. If the contractor is properly managing the 3 phases of control, The government QA team is freed from micromanaging every single fastener. What does that mean practically?
It means the government QA personnel are shifted from being reactive inspectors, the police officers, to being strategic auditors.
So they're not spending all day on site just hunting for problems.
Right. They spend their time reviewing documentation, checking the validity of the contractor's process, and addressing high-level contract compliance issues. This is crucial for contract administration offices that have to maintain effective operations despite limited, often shrinking resources.
They maximize the impact of their limited high-value personnel by delegating the tactical QC to the contractor.
Exactly. And this shift directly translates into better project outcomes, specifically fewer deficiencies and a massive reduction in corrective efforts. If problems are eliminated in the preparatory phase, they never reach the point of requiring formal deficiency documentation and costly corrective action plans.
And fewer deficiencies means fewer arguments and less bureaucratic drag, which of course leads to speed.
Yes, the reduction in corrective work by contractor forces driven by good preventative planning almost always leads to an earlier project completion overall. And for the public taxpayer, cost and time growth are minimized.
Which is huge.
It is. When the CQC system is robust, the project schedule and budget are predictable, protecting the public investment from massive, unforeseen overruns.
The public relations angle here is significant, especially when government projects are often scrutinized for waste or inefficiency.
Absolutely. Improved public relations and enhanced client or customer satisfaction are direct benefits when large-scale projects are completed on time, safely, and within the original budget. CQC acts as the institutional shield against the negative press associated with delayed or failed projects.
It ensures the government is delivering on its promise to the taxpayer.
Exactly. And mirroring the contractor side, there's a valuable morale boost for the government staff. They aren't spending their careers fighting over punch lists and deficiencies. They are successfully commissioning vital infrastructure. They also take pride in the delivery of a quality product that serves the public good.
Which brings us to the ultimate beneficiary. The stakeholder, the client, the customer, the local community, the military personnel, the users of the facility. How does the source material synthesize this massive, complex process of CQC into a simple benefit for this group?
It's stated simply and powerfully in the module summary. The benefit of effective CQC to the stakeholder is, at its core, the delivery of a quality product safely, on time, and within the budget.
That's the trifecta.
It is. It takes the contractor's financial gains and the government's efficiencies and distills them into a successful public outcome. That is the ideal state of any construction project, and CQC is the mechanism designed to deliver it consistently.
That was an incredibly dense and I think necessary deep dive into the operational mechanisms and the financial and cultural payoffs of CQC. So now let's solidify those core takeaways.
Okay.
Let's review the 5 key questions derived directly from the source material. Think of this as the final check to ensure you've absorbed the essential knowledge from Submodule 1.2.
Sounds good. This will serve as our structured recap, reinforcing those technical definitions and the shift in mindset required for modern construction management.
Perfect. Let's start with the foundation we laid in Section 1. Question 1. What is the difference between inspection and control?
The essential difference is all about orientation and timing. Control is the forward-looking, proactive, preventative system. It's primarily concerned with planning future activities and ensuring adequate preparation through the 3 phases of control: preparatory, initial, and follow-up.
Its objective is to eliminate deficiencies before they occur.
Exactly. Whereas inspection is the backward-looking verificational check. It is the ongoing or after-the-fact examination of accomplished work, and it's focused solely on ensuring the finished product meets the contract specifications.
So one plans quality, the other verifies quality.
That's the perfect summary.
That distinction is paramount. Okay, moving to accountability. Question 2. Who has contractual responsibility for quality control?
This is a point that cannot be overstated. The contractual responsibility for quality control, or QC, lies unequivocally with the contractor.
Not the government.
Not the government. We talked about that intentional shift away from the historical model where the owner or agency bore the burden. Under the modern CQM system, the contractor designs, implements, and staffs the entire QC system. The government's role is strictly quality assurance QA, auditing the contractor's system, not performing the contractor's QC duties.
Got it. This next question tests whether we truly understand that shift in emphasis, especially considering how easy it is to neglect the planning side. Question 3. Is the following statement true or false? CQC is principally concerned with inspection. Explain.
The statement is definitively false.
False. Okay.
While inspection is a required element, the course material emphasizes that CQC is principally concerned with control, the planning, the preparation, and the proactive follow-through.
And why is that?
Because planning is what prevents the massive costs associated with rework. If CQC only focused on inspection, it would just be a reactive system for finding existing mistakes, rather than a proactive system for eliminating them and generating profit. The CQC system prioritizes prevention over after-the-fact checks.
That distinction confirms the entire philosophy behind the module. Okay, now let's review those tangible returns. Question 4. How does the contractor benefit from effective CQC?
The benefits are they're substantial and multifaceted, and they hit profitability directly. We identified the biggest financial win, the greatly reduced tear-out and replacement cost.
The rework.
The rework. And that means greater profits because the work is done right the first time. Beyond that, CQC leads to operational efficiency, resulting in earlier project completion and reduced field overhead costs.
Which in turn allows them to do a greater volume of business.
Precisely. We also noted the essential benefits of improved reputation and image, leading to future contract opportunities. Safety is integrated, leading to less lost time and fewer insurance claims.
And for the big government projects,
a powerful competitive advantage through the potential for an above-satisfactory CPARS evaluation, which is a gateway to high-value future contracts.
Fantastic. Finally, we turn to the public sector. Question 5. Name the benefits of effective CQC that accrue to the government.
So the government accrues benefits primarily through resource optimization and reliable delivery. First, manpower is used more effectively. The QA team can function as auditors rather than police officers, which is critical for contract administration offices operating with limited personnel resources.
Right.
Second, effective CQC guarantees better outcomes. Fewer deficiencies, less corrective work, minimized cost and time growth on the project, all leading to earlier project completion.
And the final layer being client satisfaction.
Correct. All these operational benefits translate directly into improved public relations and enhanced client and customer satisfaction when projects are completed on time, within budget, and to the expected quality. And of course, the government staff benefits from the pride associated with successfully commissioning a quality public product.
We covered the foundational definitions, detailed the 3 phases of control, analyzed that revolutionary shift from QC by the owner to QC by the contractor, and detailed the comprehensive benefits for all stakeholders. That was an incredibly thorough deep dive into the essence of contractor quality control.
I think the core takeaway is simple. Quality control is no longer a bureaucratic burden to be avoided. It is a profit-generating, risk-mitigating, and reputation-building system that's driven by structured planning and prevention.
If your control system is robust,
your inspections become merely confirmations of success.
Absolutely. The entire success of the system hinges on the rigorous discipline of that preparatory phase, ensuring every party is aligned before production even begins.
It all starts there. And before we wrap up, we want to address our audience directly. If you found this deep dive valuable, if the concept of the 3 phases of control was an aha moment for you, or if you now see quality management as a driver of profitability, we have a small request.
Request visitors to like and subscribe this channel, Construction Tutor. Your engagement really helps us continue to produce these in-depth modules and bring specialized operational knowledge to more learners like you quickly and thoroughly.
And finally, let's leave you with one final provocative thought that builds on that concept of partnering we talked about. The sources tell us that effective CQC creates a much more pleasant experience than the traditional use of enforcement and adversarial contracting.
Right. So if the success of this system relies on the contractor taking genuine ownership and the government trusting that system enough to pull back from constant enforcement, what does this cultural shift imply for traditional contract language?
That's a great question.
Does the future of contract management lean less on punitive legal clauses, the threats of liquidated damages and non-compliance fines, and more on shared, transparent metrics of process quality and mutual respect?
If we successfully move past enforcement and into a genuine partnership, how must we rewrite the foundational documents of construction to reflect a relationship built on trust rather than antagonism? That is the big question hanging over the evolution of construction management.
Indeed. Until the next deep dive, keep learning and keep building quality into your planning.
We'll see you soon.